Alright, so I don't know if any of you guys know who I am. My name is Jest. I do Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, do proxies and stuff on the side. I play, stream on Twitch here and there. But I kind of wanted to address Konami as a whole. And I think that most players will agree with me when I say that they're doing a great job lately. They're updating the players, their product placement's great, their ban list is great. They, the majority of their tournament rule updates were great, but there's one thing that needs to be addressed, and I personally go out of my way to defend them at times with some ban list hits here and there, rulings, card releases, secondary market, all that stuff. But the issue is Section N of their latest rules set. And while I wholeheartedly agree with the deck verification segment of it, I think the private knowledge of your deck during the duel is something that needs to be in place. It's needed to be in place for a long time. You don't need to know what your opponent's playing until they're playing it against you. You don't need to know how much they've sided. You don't need any of that. You just need to play the game and let it fall how it falls. When you get to do a deck check on someone, you get to know more than you need to know, and it sways the game in the person that got to do the deck check's favor. Now, card verification is another part of this, and I'm fine with that. Public knowledge doesn't require you picking up and reading a face down card again after it's set. If it's something like the sub-terror cards, you don't need to read those. You can ask your opponent what it does. You can ask the opponent what its defense is. You don't need to know anything else about it. In all honesty, you don't, because as far as the public knowledge is concerned, you can read it on their on the rule set what the card does, what its defense is, pretty much it. You don't need anything else. If you need anything else, you can ask. If it's a card, it's public knowledge. But if it's face down, it is not your business at that point in time. Back row, same thing. If you don't know what Salamangreat Roar does, that's your problem. You should know exactly what it does, but if you need to know because you haven't played the deck before or you haven't played against the deck, go ahead, ask your opponent. They should be able to tell you at any point in time what it does, but you only get to know if it's face down on their field already. They shouldn't just be telling you. That's a lot of information that you should already know anyway. My issue though with all of the rules, the only thing that I had an issue with is the same thing that most people have an issue with, and that is the hand verification. I think it was handled poorly. I think it was worded badly, and the issue is really the implications that cards like Mind Crush or Ordeal of a Traveler will have. So we'll start with Ordeal of a Traveler. It's a fairly old card, but because the rule changes are there, some YouTubers are saying that people can and will cheat, and I think we're all inclined to agree with that. So we'll use a scenario. Player A declares attack on Player B. Player B activates Ordeal. They have 3 cards in hand. Player A calls Monster. Player B says the call is incorrect. Now what? Does the randomly selected card get revealed? Like, you're not being very clear on that. And if not, how do we verify that Player B isn't cheating? There's nothing more than word of mouth at that point, and that's unhealthy for the game. Especially after how Infernities were an issue back some years ago. I'm sure everybody remembers that. People would set the monsters just to make sure that they had no cards in hand. It was a big issue, and we can't have that again. So that's just how I feel about it. I'm sure a lot of people are agreeing with that, though. We need some way to kind of say, hey, this is what needs to happen when this card is activated. Give us a card list or something along those lines that says if a card says this, then you have to reveal this card, or you have to reveal hand. Because just saying that hand verification isn't a thing, that's not fair. It's not fair to players. It's not fair to the judges either, because they're gonna have to put up with the grief. You're gonna get like here's and there's, like an email or a video like what I'm doing here, but you're not gonna get the vast majority of the people coming at you saying, "Hey, this is messed up," because let's face it, the vast majority of people aren't going to events anyway. But the ones that are going to go to the events are the ones that are going to complain about this because they don't want to be cheated out of wins. And the ones that aren't complaining are the ones that are probably going to be cheating. All right? So, getting back on topic, because I feel like that was a little bit of a tangent, and I don't think that I need to stay on it any longer. But, so, what words, like, are we going to use for that? Is it just going to be reveal and excavate, or are we going to go with the ordeal where, again, you would still reveal one card? Is that going to be the thing? In the case of Mind Crush, my friend and I were talking about this one, and he brought up a scenario, and he said, player A has Mind Crush set. Player B is playing Sky Strikers. It's game 2, and standby phase, player B, player A activates Mind Crush, calling engage. Player B has engage and Upstart Goblin in hand, and they say they have no engages in their hand. Now, at this point, there's no way to verify unless they reveal hand, right? So, at this point, main phase 1 would roll around, and player B would activate Upstart Goblin. They shuffle their hand a little bit, and then they play engage. What proof would one have to present to the judge to prove that player B was cheating, to prove that they were in the right at this point and that their opponent cheated them at all? What do we do? Word of mouth, again, that's not enough. And this scenario is applicable to any deck. So again, the question becomes, do players reveal their hand to their opponent when Mind Crush is used on them? And if not, why not? I get keeping the hand verification thing at a minimum, but you don't want us calling judges anymore for this. So if we can't call a judge and we can't get the hand verification, what are we supposed to do? So again, this needs to be kind of fixed. And I want to reiterate that I really like the direction that Konami's been going lately. They giving us the more concrete definitions for public and private knowledge, the hygiene issue being addressed, even making pencil, pen, and paper mandatory for a life point tracking to count is great. I love the rest of the rule changes. But the hand verification really needs clarification. It really needs some retooling. And I don't think people want to be bumped out for cheating, especially when stalling was a big deal just recently. We really need you guys to kind of give us a set in stone way to deal with this, because cards like these are going to be issues if you don't. Okay. I want to say thank you for your time. Anybody else that was watching this video, if you watched it all the way through, thank you. If you agreed with what I said, if you didn't agree with what I said, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. It's fine if you don't. I appreciate all the support that I get. And just kind of let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll respond to every comment. I promise I will. I'm pretty good about that. So, have a good one, and I'm out.